Hi there. In this video we are going to be taking a look at this ultimate speed oil pump 12 volts UOP 12C1. That's a mouthful. Bought this from Lidl. Also bought this Vorel I don't know, key. Maybe it's the right term for the oil filter. You have the info here and the model number, and we will be using both of them to change the oil in the Audi A4 B8 from 2010. It's a 2-liter turbo petrol engine. So let's get to it. You might be thinking, why am I using this to change the oil and why I don't just get it to a shop? Well, these days I've actually starting to trust myself more than other shops to do the proper thing and to evaluate the state of the car correctly by my standards. So yeah, and you might be thinking, okay, how do you get the oil out with this pump from your engine? Well, this will go through the hole where you have the oil dipstick, and it will just suck it out and get it out in a container. No mess, no dirtiness, no issues. And some of you might be saying, hey, but you will probably not get all the oil in this way. It's better to just drain it from the underneath. Well, yes, but I have a surprise for you. Even shops, so dealers, car repair shops are starting to actually use this method because they don't have the risk of cross-threading and damaging the oil cap. I know, it's stupid, but this is where the world is going. I would prefer again to get the oil cap off and make sure all the oil is out. I don't have a lift for the car. I'm not just going to try and get it onto jack stands and do whatever I can to drain it that way. Doesn't make sense. If shops are starting to do it like this, presumably in a few years 90% of the cars on the road will be serviced in this way. I am also starting to do it in this method. It just feels safer to do it like this at home than trying to get under the car and whatnot. If you have a lift, you are one of the lucky ones that actually have a lift, which is a bit weird. Why do you have one at home? Or a pit in your garage, that's also awesome. Yes, use the old way. I don't have those. I'm using the new way, and that's about it. So let's get to doing this. I already changed the filters, whatnot. I will link the video in the description to show you how I changed them, but I didn't film this time because I already filmed 1 or 2 years ago when I did the change then. So it was the same process this time also. Obviously it's the same every time. Even the oil, I will not show you how to change the oil in each year because I will show you once and it's the same each year. So anyway. Let's open this box, see what we have inside here, read some instructions quickly, and then hopefully not get our hands dirty, because that's the point. We'll see how it goes. This is the little pump. It was about $15 if you want to read some info. 16 watts, and the maximum temperature for the oil is 60 degrees Celsius. So make sure you don't run your engine above that temperature before changing the oil. I will just run it for a few minutes, then let it heat soak, because it will have hot spots in somewhere in the engine. So it's just a tiny bit warm, and that's about it, because I'm doing this quite late in the year, so it's a bit cold outside. If it were in the middle of the summer, I would probably not run the engine at all. So we have the protection here for the inlet and outlet, and they are a bit greased, so in theory the hoses will go in really easily. Input hose and output hose, the clamps for them. so we'll be putting those in place. These go into the box. And yeah, simple device, just on off button. These clamps for the battery. In the A4 B8 it's gonna be a bit weird because we don't have the battery in the front, but we have the charging terminals in the front, so I will connect to the charging terminals and it will be the same thing. This extension. So yeah, let me connect these hoses right here and then take a look at this and see if there's anything worth mentioning. Clamps in place, tightened. This will not come out, don't be afraid of that. This is actually molded onto it, so they are a single part in there, it will not come apart. Don't extremely over tighten the clamps, just make sure they are in there. Took this out of its box, my daughter's helping me, and it's a quite nifty little thing, and I think my daughter actually took something from it. Yes, she did. This top part actually comes with the tool, so you can see in here a smaller connector, or the big 10mm, I think, or 12mm, whatever. Yes, and my daughter's not allowing me to do what I need here. So either you use that smaller one, or you use the included adapter, if I could actually put it back in there, which gives you the big connector, or this hexagonal one. Either way, when you rotate this, as you can see, the arms get together, so the more you rotate it, the harder it's actually stuck or something, the more it will also clamp on it. And it will do exactly the same clamping when actually no, like this, I think we are tightening, and like this we are untightening. So in any direction, the more it's stuck, the more this will clamp onto it to make sure you can get it out of there. This is not a professional tool, this is for around the house use, and that's good enough for me. And I will be using it with this little thing, so I think that's gonna be enough. Anyway, so next, here's the pump. This all connected, so that's done. If you want, pause at any time. They are just telling us don't run this for more than 30 minutes at a time. After 30 minutes, let it 10 minutes to cool down. Maximum oil temperature once again. They are telling us this is not a professional product, so just for home use. And don't pump flammable fluids like petrol. It only allows you to pump oil, diesel and cooling fluid. Also, you are not allowed to pump water with it. If you want to see the flow and the pressure that this thing and the noise level that it produces. And in here, next few pages, just warnings, 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 getting started if you need it, and the operation. So run the engine up to 60 degrees Celsius. I will let it maximum 5 minutes. My engine warms up quite fast. It's a petrol and not an efficient one, that is. So the small thing you insert by the dipstick, and this one you drain it into something, connect it, switch it on, and then turn it off, and that's about it. Nothing special. To clean it, they tell you to run a bit of fresh oil through it. I don't think I'm going to run a bit of fresh oil through it. I will just leave it be, because I am pumping oil. I'm not pumping cooling fluid or diesel. Petrol, you are not allowed, only diesel. So the old oil, if it was still good for the motor, I think it's still good for the pump. I don't need to clean it with fresh oil. And if you need warranty or something like that, again, pause at any time and read this info. But for me, that's about it. Let's go in there and see what we can do. Run the engine for about 5 minutes. I can feel the oil filter being slightly warm, so presumably somewhere 35-40 degrees, maybe even a bit more, but not a lot more. So yank the engine cover out of its position someday, today, if it wants to come out. Put it aside, obviously. This needs to come out. Put it somewhere aside again, maybe even here. And here we have the pump, the oil key, the oil that will be going in, which is this, and the oil filter, and that just dropped, so I need to clean it with a cloth because I don't want sand in the engine. So this is the oil filter, and this is where we're putting the old oil. So yeah, that's about it. I think we can also open this thing up at this point in time. Nice, that's old oil. These turbo motors make the oil look like that, I think after 1,000 kilometers already. Even the Skoda Octavia does that. It kind of burns it, it heats it up a lot in the turbo. But it's designed to survive that, so hopefully the color is not an indicator of its oiling properties, lubricating properties. Anyway, next thing, get this out of the way. And this is about how we are going to do it, or I can just also give up on the extender. Not sure if I need it. We will see. Oh, and as you could see, I was really close to the plastic right there, so I need to rotate this in a way that it doesn't interfere with that plastic. I don't want to damage it. So now we are doing it, but I need both hands. This is why I don't like shops, and I even know the guys that are working on this car normally. This tool is great, but this thing was extremely over tightened. You can see how much it bent when starting to get it out. So yep, I prefer doing this at home. In theory, we should have no oil spill because this thing should have a valve in it, so oil shouldn't be let out like crazy. As you can see, some drips out, camera focus, but we can just wait for it to stop dripping. And now seeing firsthand how oil looks after 50,000 kilometers, I think I'm going to start changing it at 10,000 kilometers, honestly. Yeah, so it pays to do it yourself. You get a bit more hands-on with what happens in here. Ready to do this. As you can see, put this in as much as it went. Hopefully it's enough. We will see how much oil we will get out in that. It should be, I think, about half, because this is a 10 liter. So if we get about half, that's all the oil. Connected to ground, to positive, and this cable can split, so you can make the distance between these two as long as it's required. Don't get the crazy idea to run your engine while doing this. It must be off, because obviously you don't have a filter and don't have the cap, and you are draining the oil from it. So let's give this a bell and see what it does. Voila. And now we just wait. Okay, had a bit of fun. Got some oil out. I don't know, 3/4 of it, something like that, but not all of the oil, that's a fact. Did a bit of online digging, and it seems that mostly on German cars, shops start to be doing this thing, so that kind of sucks. But I really hope they are not doing it on this particular engine, because you just can't get all the oil out of it like this. So for me, it's good that I saw how oil looks after 50,000 kilometers, more or less. I don't like it. I will change it sooner, every single time sooner than this, for a fact. But yeah, I will be going to a shop, and I will try to stay next to the guys that are doing the oil change and drain it from the bottom, because like this we are not getting it all out. I will show you how much we actually got out. That much, and 5 liters is around here, So yeah, we still have in there a bit more than a liter, honestly. So about a quarter of the oil we got out. Yes, if you go to a shop they use this method, they will get out this much oil and don't even tell you, because they don't really care. But seeing at home how it works, nope, this method is not for me, and at least for sure not for this turbo 2-liter petrol motor. Yes, so there's about that. This thing works, not for this motor. I'm not sure if I can recommend you do something like this at home. It's just depends on what motor you have. If you are lucky and you can get this hose all the way down, it's okay. I actually needed to cut it at an angle to make it go a bit lower, and I managed to get a bit more of the oil out, but still not all of it. Yes, some oil is all around this motor, and being a bit colder, for sure I'm getting less than in a really hot day with a hot motor, but this would melt in a hot motor. And some people even had horror stories online saying that this thing got caught in the internals of the motor. Somebody even said that it pulled it out with a piece missing. You don't want that in your engine, a piece of plastic that could clog who knows what and destroy the engine. So for me, one time only, putting everything back together, and in the spring new oil change the proper way, because yep, this is nice, you can do it at home, it's easy, but I don't like it at all. Opened up the first oil bottle, and I will just with my finger put a bit of oil on this seal right here and here on the top, because there is an internal seal. Where is it? Right there, you can see it, the rubber one in the middle, which seals in here. And yes, obviously on the outside this one, and I cleaned the area, also cleaned in here. This is why I wanted to do it myself, so I can know for a fact that I'm cleaning everything and doing everything the right way. So the filter is in position, having oil on the rubber parts. I've also put oil on the metal seat in here on the engine, and everybody says do not tighten this with a tool. So basically just tighten it, I think it's already at the maximum, about that much with your hand, and be done with it, because otherwise you will get what I got here and you barely can get it out even with a big tool, and that's not okay. The rubber will do its thing if you tighten it by hand. Don't use tools to tighten it. And yeah, now let's pour some oil slowly and check this thing a lot, because I have no idea how much we will be able to get in here. Yes, also you could pre-fill the filter with oil, so there's no off time when the engine is not getting oil, but I think the off time is that short that it doesn't really matter. So yeah, and oil still is in this engine, it's not like it hasn't run in who knows how many years. Just a hint, if you have this type of oil canister that has these pull things and you cannot pull with your finger, run this and pull with it, much easier. So now let's unscrew it. Don't get in there. Unscrew it. I cannot do it with one hand. Yep, it's turning all the way around. So let's get back to using both hands. And this is how oil should look like, not like the burnt one that we got out. Again, that will not happen. I'm lucky and I'm glad that I see it how it looks. And I think I even overshot the 15,000 kilometers because of the corona and whatnot, so that will not be happening. Better 10,000 from now on for sure. Now this is a big surprise. I'm at half on the dipstick and I've put 4 liters in, and we still haven't run the engine, so some will go into the filter. Did we actually manage to get more than 4 liters? Is my measurement wrong on this bottle? Isn't this a 10-liter bottle? Yes, it's 10-liter bottle. What? So maybe my approximation was actually wrong and we got enough out. That's weird. So is this method actually half decent in the end for this particular motor? I will transfer this into these things at the end to see exactly how much we got out. And this is the level in a brand new unopened one, so we will fill right to there, all of them, so we have 1 liter in each to see how much is in here. As we can see hopefully on the dipstick, we are right at this band, so we are at 100% full, and we managed to put inside about a bit more than 4.2 liters. So we got a lot of it out actually in the end. That's honestly totally unexpected. Put this thing back in and run the engine for a while without the cover, I don't care about it, and check then the oil level once again, even on the MMI inside, and see if we need to put in more or not. Got inside the car to reset the oil change interval, and a melody started playing, My Summer, translation from Romanian. No, it's not, it's called AF outside. Do whatever you can to do your oil changes in the summer, it's not fun staying in the cold. Anyway, so go to car menu and oil lever, no, it will not show it to us. Engine needs to be off and heat it up as far as I remember. Where is it? Service interval display. 2000 kilometers skipped. That's not good. I knew the car was telling me go change your oil, but didn't realize it was that long. It started to tell it to me. That's dumb. That was just dumb from my part. Not happening again for sure. Anyway, let's get down. Reset oil change interval. Do you really want? Yes, because we did it. But inspection due since 111 days, because I set my inspection to be at the same time as the oil change at every 15,000 kilometers. So I need to use my OBD11 to reset the inspection, because it cannot be done from the MMI. Okay, connected to OBD11, and I was just looking. They introduced a lot of stuff in the apps menu for the A4 B8. A lot of things can be configured just with a push of or with a tap of your finger in these retrofits. Let's see. Okay, shift pedals, yeah, I have those already active, obviously. And in workshop we already did oil service reset, so we need an inspection service reset. Original, let's see what does. I don't think, yeah, I think it remains on original. Hold to right value, yes, hold it. Value now, not change. Okay, EU, working, yeah, so I needed to choose one of them. Success. Okay, so presumably that is done also. And another nice thing with OBD11 that I had no clue it exists. Let me show you if I could actually move something from my screen. The recording button. Where is it? In settings? No. Come on. Didn't want to get back in here. It was a mistake. In device? Nope. Supported vehicles? Nope. car. Yeah, here it is, full backup. So I think it actually backs up all the coding from all of your modules, and I'm going to use this before going to the dealership ever, because they have a weird way of changing some of my retrofits when they are actually connected. Yeah, I'm not doing it right now. When they are connected to Audi servers, they just somehow set my car to default settings, and I freaking hate it. So I'm going to do this full backup, and presumably I can actually load it in case something like that happens, or at least this is what I think this does. We will see in the future. Hopefully I will never need to use it, but I just saw that it's in here, and here are the apps. So I really highly recommend you get the OBD11. It's a small device, connects to your phone. Yeah. So yeah, let's get outside and check the level once again. And we have the oil level, as you can see, below middle. So I think we can put about 300 milliliters in here, and then we are still good. Maybe even 400 milliliters, sorry. So we actually managed to get all the oil out of this car. So that means I will actually be doing this myself. So if I do it myself, I don't pay for any labor. I can do this every 10,000 kilometers and pay exactly as much as I would pay a shop to do it every 15,000 kilometers. Yep, the car will be happier, I will be happier. So this is what we will be doing from now on. This is a weird video. At start I was happy with the idea. In the middle I thought this is complete garbage, not working. At the end it seems it actually worked perfectly. So yeah, at least on the 2.0 turbo petrol, it seems you can actually get all the oil out. Yes, it's a bit tricky, but you can get it out. Nice. Let's see what we get after we topped it off. Hopefully we can actually clearly see on this. And yes, we are again, come on camera, focus, right at that edge. It's really hard to see because this is new oil, but we are right at the top edge where the bend starts. So we are 100% full. Let's see, did I put this wrong? Because this is cut by myself. Yes, I put it wrong. I need to rotate it. It clears better like this with the top. Anyway, so let's go see what the car says inside on the MMI. MMI confirms it. So we managed to actually put in this engine 4.5 liters of oil. That means we got out almost 100% of the oil. Much better than I would have expected, honestly. So yeah, although maybe 4.6 is thought to be at middle level, so maybe we didn't get as much, but anyway, we got over 90% of the oil from the engine for sure. So that's a win in my book. Put the engine cover back on, and we are done here. And yes, while trying to see how much we got out, disaster happened, oil spill, so this will not be relevant anymore, and wife will not be happy about this, although this is a construction site yet in the yard, but yeah, I'm going to have some issues with her, sadly. And that gives a word of warning: if you are doing this on your driveway, don't try to do fancy stuff like this, because you have big risks. Just realized something, that maybe OBD11, when I selected EU, will change the interval for the inspection, and it did. I think I should have changed, selected US, and maybe a different value would have come up in here, maybe 15,000, but I'm not going to risk it. Whatever, they are at least in sync, so at every 2 years I also need to use the OBD11 to reset the inspection. Inspection will be done on the car. I need to change some bushings, some arms, or whatever they are called, elements of the suspension next year in the front, in the spring. So inspection is being done on the car, but not at the same time as oil change. So yeah, kilometers I will write myself in the book, the service manual of the car, and I will sign it, because yeah, what is better than a video to have a proof that you actually did change the oil and you are doing the oil changes by yourself at home. Okay, so that's a bit weird. I don't know why the car was saying that is overdue. Maybe on time, but on kilometers, no. And it somehow in the back of my mind, I knew it couldn't be right to have to being overdue on kilometers, because sorry, my daughter in the background, because of Corona I'm not driving the car too much. Yes, we were on vacation in the summer, more kilometers, but not to compensate for not driving. I'm working from home, so yeah. The reality is we are well under 15,000, so 30,848 checked with the service manual. So presumably when I went with the car to have it checked, somebody actually reset from the service my service interval, and they, instead of resetting that one, they reset the oil change. I don't know, doesn't make sense, but checked the service manual, and yes, we were not even above 15,000, and you saw how the oil looked. So for me, 10,000 the maximum that it will get, 10,000 kilometers oil changes from now on. Anyway, and sorry for my phone kept buzzing and beeping, nothing that I can do about it. Yeah, so about this thing for the end of the video, forgot to tell you it has rubber feet on the underside, so if you put it on something, it will try to stay there, so it's not moving a lot, it's not vibrating too much. Yes, it's a bit noisy, but yeah, it's good. It's really good. I like it. It already paid for itself. This thing paid for itself. But when storing it away, be careful, there is still oil on the hoses. Somehow let them drain vertically. Wife will not be happy about this. I need to clean it now. And daughter in the background once again. So yeah, that's about it. This thing, although I was a bit at the middle of the video disappointed, it actually did a really good job, but it might not do it on all cars. So buy it if you want, test it. If it does a good job, perfect. If not, then go to a service and have the oil replaced. That's about it. And yes, you need this, but do not tighten the filter with it, only untighten it. You tighten it with your hand after you have oiled the seals, so it goes easier. That's about it for this video. Hope it helps you, in which case please give it a like, check out my other videos, and as always, see you in the next one. Bye.